Howdy folks, I realized in the last video that the volume might have been a little bit lower, so I'm going to try to speak a little bit more forcefully and hopefully project better so that you'll be able to hear without having to turn the volume up to 75.
What are you, a teacher or something?
I'm going to try, so we'll see. And today, as the teacher motif has been raised, we're going to teach you about Spider-Man, so in the form of Marvel Tales, which is a great reprint book and I recommend it highly. But that aside, let's have a look. So Marvel Tales, as I said, is a reprint book, and it reprinted Amazing Spider-Man. And the one thing I should say about Marvel Tales is, as great as it is kind of sporadic. And when I was a kid, I started to notice that some of the stories were disjointed when I was reading them, and that's because they would skip over issues entirely in the reprint process. So it wasn't necessarily consecutive, but I digress. Anyway, so moving on.
Because it's supposed to be Marvel's mightiest masterpieces.
Well, at the beginning, yeah. So this is number 6, which is very early in the process. This might even be from the late 60s. That's how old this is. But as you can see, it reprints Spider-Man 9. And at first, Marvel Tales would reprint a different variety of books. There's Journey to Mystery, which was Thor, Strange Tales, which featured the Human Torch and I believe Doctor Strange, and Tales to Astonish, which looks like the Wasp. So I can't remember if that was Ant-Man and the Hulk, I believe. But anyway, so this is kind of how Marvel Tales started. It would reprint Spider-Man as its primary feature, but it also reprinted other Marvel books. So, and here's another one of those. There's Spider-Man 14, first appearance of the Green Goblin. And there's more Journey into Mystery, Strange Tales, and Tales to Astonish. Now, the great thing about this is, yes, they're reprints, and yes, they're not as valuable as the books that they reprint. However, if you are interested in having a copy of one of those early Spider-Man books, or Strange Tales, or Tales to Astonish, this is a nice, less expensive way to get them than having to pay out for the originals.
That is specifically made by Marvel, too.
Yeah,
So.
yep. So that's a good way to have those formed. Now, this is Marvel Tales 24, and I think that this is Marvel Spider reprinting something in the 30s. I think this might be like 31, but I can't remember what issue this is. But it also still has the reprints. So. This will be the last one I have of those. So these are, like I said, very early issues of Marvel Tales. That's number 24. So now, here's Marvel Tales 34, which is more what I was talking about. That's this Spider-Man versus the Vulture, and I believe this is like in the 40s of Spider-Man. So I don't know what issue. This could be like 47 or 48. So it's hard to tell, unfortunately, from just the cover. So this is Kraven and the Vulture. It also didn't help. This is Marvel Tales 35, that they didn't always use the original cover, so it's a little bit harder to keep.
Oh, that's inconvenient.
Yeah. They would have new cover art, so this is not the cover of the book that it's reprinting. So this is 36. This is...
That's Kingpin, isn't it?
Yeah, this may be the first appearance of the Kingpin if it's reprinting Spider-Man 50, which is possible. So, but it's hard to tell because, again, the cover isn't the same as it was. This is Spider-Man Dr. Octopus. I think this is something like Spider-Man 53 or 54. And this is a continuation of that story, Doc Ock Wins, in which Spider-Man lost his memory and teamed up with Dr. Octopus for a short period of time. There's Spider-Man, Marvel Tales 40 again. Here's Marvel Tales 45 with Medusa. I believe that he still had his memory lost at this time. But I can't remember if...
So Dr. Octopus was against Medusa too then?
No, he was tricking Spider-Man into thinking they were teammates. So, and he actually involved Spider-Man in some crimes. Here's Marvel Tales 46 featuring the 2 Vultures, which I believe was in the 60s.
The 2 Vultures?
Yeah, there was a secondary Vulture who stole his wings and all that kind of stuff. So I believe this was in the early 60s of Spider-Man, so we're moving along. There's 46 again. Here's 47, and there's Vulture again. Here's 51. Now, I believe that this is the actual or reproduction of the cover. This is Spider-Man 68, I believe. And
can you tell if it's like the entire cover is the art that they are reproducing the original cover art?
Yeah, in this case, I can tell. But that's, only because I'm a comic book geek and I've, read these things so many times, I can recognize it. So the background color is different. It wasn't purple in its original format, but... still, this is, I believe...
That's close enough.
Yeah, I believe the imagery is at least the cover that was on 68. So this is Spider-Man 50... This is Marvel Tales 54, which I believe is like Amazing Spider-Man 73 or something like that. But anyway, maybe I'll stop getting into so much detail. But that's basically the gist of it. If you're looking for more inexpensive ways of getting, a way to read Spider-Man comics in more or less their original format, Marvel Tales is not a bad way to go. That's 55, Marvel Tales 55, Marvel Tales 56, which features Silvermane. This is Marvel Tales 58.
Silvermane?
Yeah, he's a character that is like a crime lord in Spider-Man world. This is Marvel Tales. I believe this is, the original cover for this issue. So they were using more of the original covers
Torch,
around this time.
Like.
Yep, the Human Torch, and Spider-Man is trying to stop the Lizard, and knowing that he's Dr. Connors, and he just wants to restore him to his original form. And Human Torch is treating the Lizard as a villain. So Spider-Man is actually trying to stop the Human Torch from actually harming the Lizard. So that's an interesting scenario. Now, this is a great one. If you were ever looking for the first appearance of the Prowler, this is a reprint of that issue. So, the first appearance is a little bit more expensive in Amazing Spider-Man. I believe it's Amazing Spider-Man 78, maybe 79, but maybe it's 78. So yeah, that's an expensive issue, but this format is a little less expensive and a good way to get the story. And then there's this one, which is Marvel Tales 60, which is the second part of that. And I believe in the original Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker was in this image. I don't know why they decided to change it to Spider-Man, but there you go, a little trickery from Marvel there. But anyway, if you are interested in getting original issues of the Prowler, this is not a bad way to get it. I have 4 copies of the second issue and only 1 of the first. So, but I got them. If you're interested, let me know. Marvel Tales 61 reprints an appearance of the Chameleon, and that was the original cover, so that looks pretty cool. They generally did a great job. 62, that's an appearance of the Kangaroo. This is a great one. Now this is Amazing Spider-Man 82, and the issue of Amazing Spider-Man 82 was published with a different cover, but this was supposed to be the original cover, and I think it's a great cover. And somehow something happened to the art for the original cover, so they crafted a new cover. And when they had the chance, they used the reprint, the real cover that they intended for the Marvel Tales issue. So that's a little bit of cool trivia for you. And honestly, I think this is a better cover than what they used. But the other cover was pretty cool too. So fun story there. Spider-Man and Electro again. This is number 64, the coming of the Schemer, who was a new villain who had just as much of a problem with the Kingpin as he did with Spider-Man. So that was a cool story. So here's the Kingpin appearing, number 65. Here's number 66 with the Schemer, Spider-Man, and Kingpin all on the same cover.
Ooh.
Yep, here's 67, which Beware the Black Widow, which if you're going to put her in shadow and you're going to say Beware the Black Widow, then why even bother with...
Is that the Black Widow?
Yeah, that's the actual Black Widow.
Natalie Rushman?
That's right. Spider-Man 68, and Peter Parker feels ill and winds up giving away his identity. Interesting story, so that was fun. And here's Marvel Tales 69, which reprints, I think this is Amazing Spider-Man 88, which features Dr. Octopus. So, and here's Spider-Man 71, which reprints Spider-Man 90, which features the death of Captain Stacy, Gwen Stacy's father. So it's possibly a pivotal issue. I don't know if the Marvel Tales version. I don't know if the Marvel Tales issue was worth anything extra, but it's still an interesting issue. So this is number 72, which is Amazing Spider-Man 91, which is the aftermath of that incident. So here's Gwen and Aunt May and Mary Jane all, shaking their fist at Spider-Man because they of course.
Where's Betty Brant?
She wasn't really around at this time. So of course the Daily Bugle blames Spider-Man.
Is she newer or older? I don't
She's
remember.
older. She was one of the originals in the earliest issues
and
of
what,
Spider-Man.
they didn't feel like writing about her anymore?
I think that she kind of faded out in the 30s, and then she did come back later in the series. So here's Spider-Man versus Iceman.
Maybe she's Betty Ross.
Maybe. in a no prize book, yes. So here's 74, a really cool issue. This is a reprint of Spider-Man 93, which is the reappearance of the Prowler. And I could go on about how all of these are really cool, but this is a particularly good issue. I remember as a kid, I always liked this one a lot. So here's Marvel Tales 76, which is Spider-Man in London, and I believe this is Spider-Man 95. So anybody who heard Spider-Man 95, their ears might have perked up because Spider-Man 96, the issues that were published without the Comics Code of Approval because they dealt with drugs, which apparently the offices at Marvel were asked to write stories to raise drug awareness. And of course, it also features the Green Goblin in a fantastic 3-part story. Really great stuff. So here's
After he was resurrected, or is he?
he hadn't died yet.
Mm.
So here's Spider-Man. This is Marvel Tales 78, which is a reprint of Spider-Man 97, and this is Marvel Tales 79, which is a reprint of Spider-Man 98. So 96, 97, 98, great Green Goblin story. Here's number 99, I believe, where Panic in the prison, not in the greatest of shape, but still.
Hmm.
And here's Marvel Tales 81, which I believe that this is what I was talking about, how they would skip over issues. They skipped over 100, 101, and 102, which featured Spider-Man with 6 arms, Morbius, and tale about the lizard. I'm not sure why they chose not to reprint it, but this is Spider-Man 103.
Probably because they're kind of pointless, but
No,
compared to the story that preceded
but
them.
sequentially, why wouldn't they reprint them? I don't know what the logic was.
I mean, if they're not reprinting every single one, then they might have
but I don't
picked
know.
and chose which
All
ones
I'm
are
saying
more
is I
important.
don't know why they didn't just reprint everything sequentially. That's all. 81. That's 103. So this is 82. More in this Khazar and Zebu.
Yep.
So there's more of 83. This is 85, which reprint of something like 107 or 108. I forget exactly which issue it is.
How does our hero get out of this one?
Exactly. 86, the Spider Slayer again.
Cool.
So 87, Flash Thompson had some sort of run-in when he was in Vietnam, so they of course incorporated that into the story. Spider-Man 88, featuring Doctor Strange. 89, The Birth of the Gibbon.
The Gibbon.
Yep.
Huh.
Spider-Man, Marvel Tales 90, more of the Kraven and the Gibbon. I believe this is like Spider-Man 111 or 110. Spider-Man 91, go on world, hurt each other, kill each other, do anything you want. Spidey cops out. Because he's kind of at the end of his rope. Just so let's see. And on the inside, it tells you normally what issue it reprints. Originally presented in Spider-Man. This is 110.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it does give you an indicator, but not all. In fact, not all the time as well. So here's Spider-Man 92, more of that. 93, here's gang war issues. 94, Aunt May Assassin, because
Aunt May Assassin.
she was involved in a relationship with Dr. Octopus. Better not to ask. 95. So let's see, 96 is another one.
Still only 35 cents.
Yep. So here's the third part of that. It's a 3-part series that was reprinted in the issues that led up to this issue, which is a reprint of Spider-Man 121, which is the death of Gwen Stacy.
Oh.
So they talk about someone on this cover is close to die, close to me is about to die, and it's Gwen. So that's a very pivotal issue. Even in Marvel Tales, I think that one's actually worth a little bit. And this is Marvel Tales 99, reprint Spider-Man 122, which is the death of the Green Goblin. The original Green Goblin. So here's Marvel Tales.
The original Green Goblin.
So here's Marvel Tales 100. And then after this, I have all the other Marvel Tales, So these are reprints 105. This is a reprint of Spider-Man 130, which unfortunately, I guess I don't have a reprint of 129, which is the first Punisher. But here's a reprint of 132 or 133 with the Molten Man. And, it goes on. 112. This goes on through the 130s. The Green Goblin of Harry Osborn appears. 136 and 137. The Mind Worm.
Harry Osborn's the son, right? The one that became his
that became
roommate.
his successor. Yep.
Oh, I meant
that
was Peter's roommate.
Yeah,
at
that
one
was
point.
Peter's roommate. Yes. So here's a Mysterio appearance, and here's the second part of that. This is
Peter,
Cyclone, which
take
Spider-Man's
my hand.
Spider-Man's in Paris, and that's the end of that. So that's up to Spider-Man 142 or 43, I believe. So anyway, that's a good taste and a good sample of what's available, and this is a great way to get Spider-Man comics, original Amazing Spider-Man. So if you're interested, let me know. Look at the comments below or send me a message via eBay, which will be linked below. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.